Welcome to Big Sky Conference basketball tonight on ESPN Plus. It is the Idaho State Bengals hosting their intra-state rivals, the Idaho Vandals, and the battle for the King Spud Trophy. And alongside my partner, Brad Bugger, I'm Scott Gross. Glad to have you along tonight. And Brad, nothing better than a rivalry game to start a week.
No, it's always fun when the in-state schools get together. There's always kind of an electricity and an energy in the air. Idaho State's done a pretty good job of controlling this rivalry recently. The Bengals have won 13 of the last 15 meetings between these two teams, and the Vandals haven't won here in Pocatello since 2017. So you know the Vandals are itching to come in here and play well and break that string.
Before we run you down through the starting lineups tonight, Brad, let's talk about today's keys to the game, and they're brought to you by the Jeremiah Johnson Brewing Company.
Well, one of the keys to the game tonight, of course, is defending the three-point shot. Both of these teams can shoot the three. Idaho is the best three-point shooting team in the Big Sky Conference. Percentage-wise, they've also taken more threes and made more threes than anybody else. Idaho State's pretty good, too. The Bengals have averaged 9 threes a game in Big Sky Conference play. So being able to guard the three-point line is going to be a big, big storyline here tonight.
Let's take a look, Brad. You've got the starting lineups for tonight's game as well.
Starting for Idaho tonight, at guard, Biko Johnson, a 6'2 senior from Carson, California. He'll be joined in the backcourt by former Bengal Colton Mitchell, a 6'1 redshirt sophomore from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Jackson Rasmussen is at one forward. He's a 6'7 freshman from Meridian, Idaho. Jack Payne, a 6'6 redshirt junior from Boise, Idaho, is at the other forward. And the man in the middle is Brody Roberry, 6'11 senior from Meridian, Idaho. For the Bengals tonight, Jamison Guerra, 6-foot graduate student at point guard from Sherwood, Oregon. He'll be joined in the backcourt by Martin Kyle, 6'5", 200-pound sophomore from Prague, the Czech Republic. And Lachlan Brewer, 6'6", 210-pound sophomore from Langston, Australia. Up front, it's Connor Hollenbeck, 6'7", graduate student from Rapid City, South Dakota. And the man in the middle is Evan Otten, 6'11", 240-pound sophomore from Redmond, Oregon.
Bengals in their home whites with the orange and black piping, the orange numerals trimmed in black. Idaho in the black uniforms with the gold trim and numerals. Our officials tonight, our referee is John St. Clair, and his umpires are Tyler Kump and Justin Albrecht. And in the center circle, it'll be Jack Payne to jump it up against Evan Otten, as the Bengals will shoot to the goal on our left, and it's tipped back into the backcourt, and Idaho State will get the ball first too. Jamison Guerra, as we said, he's been on a heater. 76 points, averaging 19 a game through the first 4 conference games. And that was with a 4-point performance against Portland State. But a turnover here coming the other way. Jackson Rasmussen, that ball gets tipped. It's going to be touched last by the Bengals, Lachlan Brewer, and it'll be out of bounds to the Vandals. So just 23 seconds in and nearly a turnover both ways.
Both teams come out man-to-man defense.
Here's Jack Payne. He'll go out on top to Mitchell, the Coeur d'Alene High School product. Here's Roberry back out on top. Jackson Rasmussen. Biko Johnson wants to drive. A little push off. Elbow jumper good for Biko Johnson, and the Vandals take an early 2-0 lead.
And I'm going to correct myself. I think the Bengals are in that matchup zone that they've been playing this year and that first time out.
So a minute into the ball game, Bengals with their second possession. Turnover on the first one. Down the right side of the lane is Jamison Guerra. Kicks it out. Now down on that left block. Kick it back out. And a drive by Lachlan Brewer. Goes to the glass high with the right hand off that glass. And Lachlan Brewer knots the game at 2 apiece.
Brewer, the transfer from Sacramento State.
Here is Rasmussen, kicks it out. Roberry thought about a 3. Left wing side now, Colton Mitchell. Roberry sets a high pick on a little pick and roll. Shot goes inside. Roberry gets to the bucket, but draws the contact and the foul, and that will go against the Bengals, Evan Otten.
Otten, the Big Sky Conference leader in block shots with 30 so far this season, but he does have a tendency to get in foul trouble. He's averaging only 15 minutes a game. Of course, the Bengals have Caleb Vandergreen that they bring off of the bench. He's been their leading scorer for much of the season.
Brody Roberry, 77, almost 78% from the free throw line. He teased his fans and teammates with that first free throw, but he finally got it to drop through the twine.
Roberry, a transfer from southeastern Louisiana, originally from Meridian.
Played, I believe he redshirted his freshman year at Idaho, left to southeastern Louisiana, and then came back this year. Here is Jamison Guerra into the paint, gets down low, tries to up fake against Biko Johnson, does, and kisses it off the glass. And Jamison Guerra, his first bucket, ties the game at 4.
Interesting, they've got Biko Johnson matching up with Guerra defensively as opposed to Colton Mitchell.
Biko Johnson in the corner, up fake, driving down there is going to be Jack Payne. Got in amongst the trees, couldn't get it to go. Rebound tipped a couple of times and finally ripped down by Evan Otten, and the ball stripped away and out of bounds by Jack Payne.
Good job by Evan Otten of protecting that basketball, wrapping it up.
Jack Payne, one of 5 Idaho natives on this roster for the Vandals. I believe that hasn't happened since 71-72 season.
It's pretty unusual for any Idaho team to have a lot of Idaho players.
Here is Martin Kyle driving against Colton Mitchell, and he hits a fall away banker off the right side, and the Bengals have their first lead of the night here at 6-4. Biko Johnson down the lane, left side. Nobody stopped ball, and he says, I'll make the layup and tie the game at 6.
It's been a tough defensive run for the Bengals in Big Sky play. They've given up 84 points a game in the conference, and Ryan Looney's been kind of at wit's end about what to do about it.
Hollenbeck, center circle now back to Guerra. Point guard sets the play. High screen from Evan Otten. Otten and Johnson went down, no whistle. 10 to shoot. Bengals still with the ball in the hands of Jamison Guerra. He gets another screen from Otten. Pulls up from 15. That one rolls in and out, and the rebound comes to Roberry. Hill outlet left side. Biko Johnson, waist high, medium speed dribble across the timeline. Now angles over to his right. Top of the circle. Here is a 3-ball on the way, and that's good by Jackson Rasmussen. And there's the first 3-point field goal of the night for the Vandals, and they like to shoot them.
They lead the Big Sky in 3-pointers attempted and 3-pointers made and in 3-point field goal percentage. So safe to say they rely heavily on the tree.
37% plus, and there's going to be a foul out on top, and I believe they got Jack Payne. And yeah, Jack Payne will pick up his first personal foul. Payne out of Owyhee High School. He began his career at Boise High. Played for the Brave there for 3 years, and then when Owyhee opened a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, Jack transferred there and won a state title.
Isaiah Brickner in the ball game now for the Vandals. He shoots 52% for them off of the bench. They have a deep team, as does Idaho State.
Here is a 3-ball on the way by Caleb Vandegreen. That won't drop. And on the run, here comes Colton Mitchell. Gets bumped, kicks it far side, getting free. That is going to be Trayvon Blassingame, who's checked in as well. And posting up inside Jackson Rasmussen's shot is off the back iron. Good defense there by Connor Hollenbeck. So the Bengals down by 3. They have the ball. Martin Kyle wide right, Mitchell on him. Swing it out on top. Vandegreen back over to Guerra. Guerra's going to get a bump foul, and that's going to go on Isaiah Brickner. That's his first. That is the second team foul, and that will bring us to our first media timeout of the night. 15:41 to go here, first half. It is the Vandals 9, the Bengals 6. Back after this on KISU FM and ESPN+. 15:41 to go here, and as you see, the Vandals with an early 9-6 lead. And Brad, what do you see on our first 4 minutes or so of this one tonight?
Well, both teams shooting the ball well to start out. 3 of 5 from the field for both teams. The Vandals have hit their only 3-point attempt, and they're also 2 of 2 from the free throw line, and that has given them the 3-point advantage to start things off here.
So it will be the King Spud Trophy on the line tonight, and if we can, we'll get a shot of it for you later. Not the most prestigious looking, but listen. It's a potato, and you know what? That means something in the state of Idaho.
ESPN did a really good story back in November searching for the King Spud Trophy, and if you haven't read it, Google it. It's really a well-done piece.
It really is. Bengals with the basketball. Get it down on that left block. This is going to be Lachlan Brewer stepping through, turn, hook shot off the mark, no. Rebound to the floor, picked up by Rasmussen. Here comes Colton Mitchell, directing traffic with his right hand as he dribbles with his left. Bounce pass down on that left baseline. Once again, this is Rasmussen, or check it. That is going to be Seth Joba, and I think he's going to get called for the walk, or do they call the foul? And it's going to be on Connor Hollenbeck. That is Seth Joba, who just checked into the game. Hollenbeck with his first.
Joba, 6'9" junior. He's a transfer from Vermont.
Orchard Park, New York native. I wonder if he likes the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I wonder. Somehow I suspect he is a Bills fan.
By the way, I just have one thing to say when it comes to football.
Go Hoosiers.
Go Hoosiers. And there's going to be a foul, and that is going to go to Trayvon Blasingame. He gets his first as the Bengals got the inbound, or stole the inbounds pass, and Martin Kyle coming the other way gets dinged for the foul. So they will put 30 seconds on the shot clock here. Bengals still down 9-6. The Vandals have had a couple of opportunities to extend and build on that three-point lead, and they haven't been able to convert.
Shekso in the ball game for the Bengals now, their best defensive player.
Here's Van de Green, right block, working against Joba. Hands come in. He kicks it back out. Kyle from the corner for three. Too long. Rebound tip. Shekso's got it. Sheck with the offensive rebound for Idaho State.
Hollenbeck kept that thing alive.
Yes, he did. As Guerra works out on top, drives against Brickner, now steps back, the three ball halfway down and out, tipped out, and here comes Mitchell on the run. It's 2-on-2. Mitchell leans in, off the glass, no, rebound Van de Green. Bengals push the other way. Here's Guerra. They finally stop ball, but now Martin Kyle gets free, drives the baseline, and will he get a chance to shoot two here?
I doubt it.
Let's take a look and see if he gets the continuation. Seth Joba.
Oh, they are going to give him two shots. I was surprised. Here's the replay. You see him coming in, and
close.
Seth
Joba picks up his first personal, fourth team foul on the Vandals, and Martin Kyle out of the Czech Republic, 79% free throw shooter on the season. And the first one here is good, and that's the first ICCU free throw of the night.
Martin's had a couple of dramatic free throw attempts the last couple of weeks. Down at NAU, he missed two free throws with 8 seconds left with ISU up by 2 points. Wound up getting the defensive rebound that saved the game for the Bengals.
Makes a pair here. Support for ISU Athletics radio broadcast comes from ICCU. This season, ICCU contributes $5 to student athletes at Idaho State with every made free throw. So the Bengals back to within a point. Colton Mitchell drives, kicks, corner three ball. That was blocked by Shekso. Jack Payne's three-point attempt was blocked by So as he got a fingertip on it. Now Guerra into the paint. Needs some help. Finds Kyle. Bengals with a chance to retake the lead. Martin Kyle back out to Guerra. Brickner picks him up.
Plenty of time. They'll reset the offense.
Down to 10 to shoot here. Brickner staying with Guerra. Bounce pass. 5 to shoot for Bengals, and they lost the ball, and as a shot tries to go up, it was Caleb Van de Green who lost the handle on the ball on the right block. It came to Lachlan Brewer, but he could not get the shot away.
Caleb has struggled offensively the last few weeks. He's having a hard time. They're doubling down on him now. The word is out on him, and he's not doing a great job of getting rid of the ball under pressure.
So still a 1-point lead for the Vandals as they have possession of the basketball. Out on top, Payne gets free, fires, three ball back iron, and bodies fly, and getting the rebound, Brickner, and Isaiah Brickner lays it up for his first bucket of the night.
Martin Kyle never saw that ball coming back. He actually had position on that rebound, but he never turned around. The ball went right over his head.
Here's Brewer out on top to So. Shekso out of Senegal. Junior, 6'7". There is Van de Green on the baseline, left side, out to Garrett, feed it back to the post. Trying to back down Rowberry. There's the hook shot, left short.
They forced that up.
Pass up the floor. Here's Jack Payne. Thought about a three. Now Rowberry. Now Brickner. Up fakes, but Jamison Guerra didn't bite, kept his feet. Good defensive stance there. As Colton Mitchell trying to get free. Guerra now on Mitchell. Tried to get a little back cut with Brickner. He went out and made a hard Z cut out there on that left wing side. Here's Colton Mitchell. His fall-away jump shot nowhere near the iron. Bengals get the rebound with So. Idaho State down by 3. So to Brewer. Back out on top to Guerra. Bengals down to 40% here. 33%, 3 of 9. The Vandals are 4 of 10. And there is a near steal as Colton Mitchell came in and knocked that ball away from Martin Kyle. I will give credit where credit is due right now. This Vandal defense is tough, and especially when that ball gets down in the paint.
Yeah, they're doubling down in that post, and the Bengals are not doing a very good job of handling it.
Bengals have missed their last 6 field goal attempts, and then Evan Otten turns the ball over. That is turnover number 3 on the night for Idaho State. We approach the 12-minute mark. Vandals lead 11-8. Biko Johnson comes to the near side corner. Lob it down on the post there on that right block. That's going to be Seth Joba trying to body up against Lachlan Brewer and puts up the hook shot and scores it. Seth Joba put a pretty good shoulder into the chest of Lachlan Brewer. And I think if Lachlan maybe had given a little more of that head snap, he might would have gotten a call there.
You got to sell it.
Gus Etchison into the game, and his first shot of the night is the first Bengal Mountain America Credit Union three-pointer. Mountain America Credit Union supporting ISU.
Johnson is really powering in on Etchison, and they called the foul on Etchison, but I'm not sure what he's supposed to do in that situation.
I don't either. He's used. Let's take a look at Gus Etchison. He's become kind of Mr. Instant Offense when he comes off the bench, and he was in the game for maybe 30 seconds and knocked down the big-time three-pointer. So with 11:29 to go here, it is Idaho 13, Idaho State 11. Back after this break on KISU-FM and ESPN+. Welcome back to Reed Gymnasium here on the campus of Idaho State University. Big Sky basketball tonight. Scott Gross, Brad Bugger with you and our crew here on ESPN tonight. And Brad, both teams, I mean, this game has been somewhat physical. What are you seeing numbers-wise?
Well, the Bengals have turned it over 3 times. I think the Vandals have done a really good job of double-teaming the post, forcing the ball out of the Bengals' hands. ISU's turned it over 3 times. The Vandals have scored 6 points off of those 3 turnovers, so they have been very efficient.
So it'll be Isaiah Brickner, Seth Joba, Jack Payne, Brody Roberry, and Biko Johnson on the floor for the Vandals. Connor Hollenbeck, Evan Otten, Shek So, Lachlan Brewer, and Gus Etchison at the point for Idaho State as the Vandals try to inbound it. It's tipped and stolen, and they had Evan Otten. They had Evan Otten guarding Biko Johnson. As that ball is tipped, Biko Johnson is looking over at Alex Pribble saying, hey, review that.
I think that ball was thrown out of bounds by the Bengals. We'll see. Here's Evan Otten with the rebound, and then I don't know. Couldn't tell if Johnson touched it or not. But
Biko said he didn't.
Yes.
Of course. Said he didn't. But nonetheless.
And whether they will be able to tell from this replay, I don't know.
Well, John St. Clair, we had a chance to chat with him. He's our referee tonight. Tyler Kump and Justin Albrecht, our officials tonight. We've had I know we've had Justin Albrecht for a couple of games this season. I should say the Bengals have. And Tyler Kump, I know he was here in Reed Gymnasium for at least 1 game earlier this year.
What a lot of people don't realize is that there are no longer Big Sky officials. Right. There is a consortium of officials that work a number of conferences, including the Big Sky. So you know, sometimes people say, oh, they're just Big Sky officials. No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're working games all the way from, you know, all along the West Coast.
Let's take another look at the replay here just to see if we can pick up on if that ball touched Biko Johnson. It was ruled on the floor that it went off of Biko Johnson. And our officials here, from that look, I don't know if there's a whole lot of conclusive evidence to overturn that call.
It's going to be interesting.
And they're going to say,
they're going to give the ball to Idaho.
No, it's Idaho State.
Oh, it is, okay.
The official Tyler Kump was pointing down towards the Bengal end of the floor. So it will be Idaho State basketball here. Turnover number 2 by the Vandals. The Bengals haven't picked up a second chance or a point off a turnover tonight, but there'd only been one opportunity. Here is Gus Etchison trying to change it, and he's got his second consecutive Mountain America Credit Union three-pointer. Mountain America Credit Union guiding members through life's financial journey and donating $50 to Operation Warm in East Idaho for every Bengal three-pointer this year. And Idaho State with that three has gone back on top, 14-13. Here is Seth Joba facing up from the far corner, trying to body up and gets to the bucket and scores. Seth Joba's got a couple of easy layups there.
He has been very physical in posting up down there against Hollenbeck, and the Bengals need to give him some help on that backside.
Here's Gus Etchison. Stops, pops, fall away jumper from the right elbow. This one short, rebound to Payne. He's on the run, but Sheck slows him down. Sheck, one of the best and maybe the best Bengal defender, and nearly got the steal. And then they kick it far side corner. That's a three ball by Biko Johnson. It's out of there, not good, but the rebound tipped away. Another three ball missed. Johnson gets it back, goes to the bucket, and finally scores. I'll tell you right now, it appears that Idaho has just that little bit of energy edge.
Yeah, and they're more physical. They are playing hard, and they're playing physical, and they're taking advantage of that.
They go back out on top, 17-14 here. 3-point lead. As Gus Etchison gives it up to Hollenbeck. Back to Gus. Kick it over. Three ball, far side corner going up, and shot flat and a little bit long by Lachlan Brewer. Here come the Vandals. Biko Johnson sizing up Gus Etchison. Can he back him down? And that's got to be an offensive foul. And we saw that before, Brad. We mentioned that free arm, and Biko Johnson that time gets banged with it.
Here's the replay. You'll see Biko Johnson working on Gus Etchison. Yeah, there's the push-off right there, and there's the second push-off.
Well, and Gus sold that pretty well, but I'll tell you, I don't think he had to sell a whole lot. That was a...
No, when you see the arm extended, that's going to get called.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, an official's going to allow some contact in that arm bar, but once you get it away from your body, makes it pretty easy. So, the Bengals down by 3, have the ball with Gus Etchison. Etchison working out there on the wide right side against
Mitchell.
Yep, Colton Mitchell gets to the glass, gets hit, loses the ball. Caleb Vandegreen, though, cleans up the slop, lays it up and in, and gets his first field goal to cut the Vandal lead to 1. Roberry quickly on the attack. Here is Isaiah Brickner, spin move in the paint. The runner banked up and in.
That was a tough shot.
Yeah, Isaiah Brickner's tough. He was a Big Sky Player of the Week back December the 9th. Junior out of San Diego, played at Marist. Here is a jump shot good by, or I should say missed, off the back iron by Gus Etchison, but they're going to draw the foul on Brody Roberry. That's his first. That is already 6 fouls on the Vandals, Brad. The Bengals have only been whistled for 3, so Idaho State going to shoot a lot of free throws here in the last 8-9 minutes.
And the Bengals shoot more free throws than any team in the Big Sky Conference. They get to the foul line a lot.
Gus Etchison just 62.5% on the season. And he will shoot a pair here. And the first free throw rattles and finds its way home. Another ICCU free throw. Bengals 3 of 3 from the line. Get back to within 2 points here. And Etchison out of Arcadia, Indiana. Can't get the second one to drop. The rebound taken out of there by Jackson Rasmussen.
And I'll correct myself. Weber State has shot more free throws than Idaho State. They're the only team that has shot more.
There's a 3-ball straightaway missed by Colton Mitchell, and Caleb Vandegreen had that ball knocked away, or he lost the handle on it.
I think it hit him in the thumb. You could see him holding his hand as if he got that finger jammed as that ball came off.
Yeah, it was that three-point attempt by Colton Mitchell well short. They get it into Rasmussen. Now Mitchell. Here's Brickner straight away. That 3-ball rattles out. Rebound though on the baseline taken by Trayvon Blasingame.
That's 4 offensive rebounds in the last 2 possessions for Idaho.
Quinn Patterson is checked in for Idaho State. Brickner gets inside and he scores. Bengals are going to have to find a way to slow down Isaiah Brickner. He's got half a dozen along with Biko Johnson.
And Bengals going to have to find a way to get an offensive or a defensive rebound as well.
That has been one of their weaknesses this year. They were top team in the league last year rebounding wise, but not this year. And here's Vandegreen. He gets the foul on no. I think he must have stepped on the inline and turned it over. So with 7:56, the clock is stopped. 21-17. Bengals or Vandals lead the Bengals. We're back after this timeout on KISU FM and ESPN Plus. Idaho State Bengals trailing 21-17 here at home in Brad Bugger. The glass is a deciding factor early.
Yes,
but first we have to talk about this guy.
King Spud, the winner of the series between the Idaho men and women at the end of the year, get to keep the King Spud Trophy, which was just resurrected a couple of years ago.
So there's 4 games possible. If they're tied, then it goes to point differential.
Although they're also talking if they happen to meet in Boise, they might take that into consideration.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, quickly, you were talking about the rebounding numbers.
6-0 on second chance points in Idaho's favor right now.
Here is Rasmussen inside, and he beats Connor Hollenbeck for the layup, and for Jackson Rasmussen, his 5th point. Mountain View Events Center is a multi-purpose facility in Pocatello for all things sports. Find out more at mecheventcenter.com. Bengals with the ball out on top. It's going to be Connor Hollenbeck. Gives it back to Jamison Guerra, who's returned as the Bengal point guard after a short break. Working against Colton Mitchell. Gets near the left elbow, feeds the left block. That's going to be Evan Otten. Turnaround jump shot good over Brody Roberry. First field goal of the night for Otten. Bengals get back to within 4. Here's a no-look pass inside, stolen away by Connor Hollenbeck. Bengals need to make him pay here. Hollenbeck to the glass, shot not good, but he's fouled and he'll go to the line. And that'll be the second, I believe, on, nope, they're going to call that on, oh, they call it on Trayvon Blasingame. So that's his second.
There's a replay. You see Hollenbeck just couldn't get it to roll in. He'll get a couple of free throws.
Hollenbeck, 79, almost 80% free throw shooter. And he makes the first ICCU free throw to get the Bengals back to within 3. As we said, the Vandals had just had their biggest lead of the night of 6 points at 23-17.
Connor has been a really good all-around player for the Bengals. One of their best scorers and one of their best rebounders. Really good defender. He's just been a real lift to this program the last couple of years after his transfer.
Came in from Minot State, same place that the Bengals picked up Caleb Vandegreen for this year. Here's Brickner, far side. Going to go to Rasmussen. Rasmussen trying to work against Evan Otten. Gets into the paint. And Evan Otten got a lot of ball, but he also got hand, and that'll be the second on Otten. And that'll be the 4th on Idaho State. And it'll send Rasmussen to the free throw line to shoot a pair.
On the season, Idaho is a 76% free throw shooting team. That is pretty darn good.
And Rasmussen, the true freshman out of Meridian High School. He played his first 3 years at Meridian.
And then he went to a prep school. He's not really a true freshman in that he played a prep school year.
Right.
And so that's kind of the equivalent of going to a junior college, but good player, really good player.
Makes the free throw here. He's a 71% free throw shooter on the season. Lead goes back to 3 for the Vandals, and that's going to be off the heel, not good. And a strong rebound by Lachlan Brewer. So the Bengals a 3-ball away from a tie here with 6:25 to go in the first half. Once again, Scott Gross, Brad Bugger with you. Hope you're enjoying our ESPN Plus broadcast tonight. Feed the ball into Blake Daberco, who just came into the game and had the ball stripped away. And a turnover again by Idaho State, or a takeaway by the Vandals. Lob it to Joba. Right block. Connor Hollenbeck bodies up with him. Going to stay with that contact in the paint. And that ball stripped away, and then they're going to call a foul on Connor Hollenbeck as he got his hands down. And Hollenbeck's second.
You see the battle down low. They're just going at it one-on-one.
Yeah, that's just.
And then Hollenbeck comes across the arm right there, gets the foul.
Seth Joba, his first trip to the free throw line tonight, makes the first. Seth Joba, we talked about him, from Orchard Park. He had 13 points against North Dakota and 13 rebounds against Whitman this season.
That's two fouls on Hollenbeck, by the way, and he takes a seat.
58% free throw shooter is Seth Joba, but he sure didn't look like it on those two. He made them both, and the lead for the Vandals swells back to 5 here at 26-21. And again, the Bengals battling turnovers here. And we got a foul away from the ball. And that's going to go on Isaiah Brickner with his second. And that'll send the Bengals Blake Daberco to the free throw line. I was talking about Blake, senior out of Lincoln, Nebraska at 6'10". He'll see some minutes now with Evan Otten on the bench here for the final 5:45. Picked up that second foul.
Blake, a 73% free throw shooter.
First free throw on the front end of the 1-and-1 is good for Daberco.
We talked about Blake a lot. The fact that he came back, was willing to come back, even though the Bengals really had two centers in front of him. He hasn't played a lot of minutes this year, but when the Bengals have needed him, he has been a big lift.
1 of 2 from the line there as he misses the back end. 26-22, Vandals with the lead here. They have the basketball. Colton Mitchell has yet to score tonight as he works against Guerra. Feeds it down inside, and Shek So nearly, and just ball out of bounds, touched last by Shek So. We were screened by Bengals head coach Ryan Looney there. Didn't see exactly what happened, but the ball out of bounds off of Shek.
Shek leads the Bengals in steals with 18, even though he only plays about 18 minutes a game.
Well, when they need a stop, you can just about bet Shek So is going to be on the floor. Here is a kick back. Joba fires for 3. That's long off the back iron, and Jamison Guerra, one of the smaller guys on the floor with a rebound, brings it the other way, goes on the attack, gets by Johnson, now gives it up. Brewer, wide right, So, Brewer, Guerra.
Vandals have done a good job of taking the 3 away from the Bengals. ISU really hasn't had a lot of good looks at the 3.
2 of 6. Here is Martin Kyle trying to change that. That 3-ball rattled out, but the offensive rebound, Daberco couldn't finish it. The rebound taken away by the Vandals, and they're on the run. Rasmussen had his hand in the air, wanted to get the pass from Biko Johnson, and Biko Johnson driving inside. Looked like he was a little out of control, but it's going to be bailed out. Martin Kyle will be whistled for his first, and the Bengals 16 foul. So that'll send Biko Johnson to the line. 6 points on the evening. First trip to the stripe for the 75% free throw shooter. That one's short, not good. That's only the second miss of the night for the Vandals. They are now 5 of 7 from the line. Bengals 2, 4, 6, 8. They are 6 of 8.
Biko Johnson is a solidly built young man.
He's out of Carson, California. Missed them both, and a big rebound by Shek So for the Bengals.
Shek got that rebound by reaching back over his head. That ball was almost over his head.
1 of 8 from three-point range are the Vandals. That is not Idaho basketball, but they've been able to get points in the paint.
This has really become a game of inside play between both these teams.
Here is a 3-ball off the back heel by Lachlan Brewer. The rebound came to Rowberry. Well, we talked about it in our radio pregame show, how this could very well come down to who has the best paint play tonight. And right now it's an 18-6 advantage for the Vandals. And Rasmussen trying to change that, and Shek So going to foul him underneath. The first on Shek, the 7th on the Bengals, and that'll take us to our under 4 timeout. 3:59 to go first half. 26-22. Vandals with the 4-point lead. Back with more after these words on KISU FM and ESPN+. 3:59 left here in the first half, and as we have just passed the 5:29 mark left here a little bit ago, it reminds us that support comes from Ideal, Idaho's college savings program. Ideal 529, helping Idaho families save for college. Get more information at idsaves.org. Scott Gross, Brad Bugger, and Brad, the Vandals having a good night thus far with the 4-point lead.
Yeah, 18-6 they lead in points in the paint. We heard Ryan Looney on the pregame show say we've got to get out and guard the three. Sometimes when you do that, it gives you you give up something in the paint, and the Bengals are giving up a lot of one-on-ones in the paint, and the Vandals are taking advantage of it right now.
And the Bengals are also being out-rebounded 15-10, 4-2 in offensive rebounds. And we talked about it. Idaho State has struggled this year rebounding. They're not as good a defensive rebounding team as they were in the last couple of years.
Yeah, last year they were the best defensive rebounding team in the Big Sky Conference, but this year they have struggled.
Jackson Rasmussen, after the foul to Shekso before the timeout, hits the front end of the 1-and-1 opportunity. Builds the lead to 5. The Vandals could match their biggest lead of the night if Rasmussen cashes this in. He does not. Martin Kyle up for the rebound. Gus Etchison back in at the point for Idaho State. 3:50 to go first half. Quinn Patterson holds the ball out on top. Rolling around, here is Etchison. Inside they go, and a hammer dunk with 2 hands by Caleb Vandegreen for his 4th point of the night, and a beautiful pass from Gus Etchison.
Gus has come off the bench and given this Bengal offense a little bit of a lift.
Here is Mitchell driving, then gives to Roberry. Roberry runs into Caleb Vandegreen, creates the space, gets his first field goal and his 4th point of the night.
And that was created by Mitchell's penetration.
Once again, Colton Mitchell, the former Bengal, has not scored tonight, and he is the leading scorer for the Vandals on the season at about 15 points a game. So Idaho State. But again, it hasn't been a perimeter game tonight, especially for the Vandals. It's been more post play. Here is Vandegreen trying to work against Roberry, puts it up and in, and Caleb Vandegreen with back-to-back buckets gets Idaho State back to within 3 here at 29-26. Colton Mitchell step back. That 3 ball is blocked, but Gus Etchison got him on the arm, and for Gus, that's his 2nd, and that's 8 on Idaho State. So the team fouls even at 8 apiece here. Let's take a look at it and see. I'm pretty sure Gus got him across the arm.
Yeah, he did.
So it'll be 3 free throws coming up here for Colton Mitchell. And Mitchell on the season, 79% from the stripe. He was part of that hugely successful Coeur d'Alene Vikings state championship team a few years ago that were nationally ranked. I think they were 26-0.
Yeah.
Who was the youngster, Buchanan?
Buchanan started his career at Virginia and then transferred. I'm not sure where he is now.
Colton Mitchell makes the 2nd of the 3 opportunities. He's got 1 more to go. Yeah, I saw him the other night. I want to say it's somewhere in the Midwest, like Iowa State, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not sure where he is now. I know he transferred from Virginia.
Yeah. 2nd free throw good for Colton Mitchell. Vandals shooting 50% from the floor. They're 11 of 22, 7 of 12 from the free throw line. Idaho State 9 of 20 for 45%, 6 of 8.
By the way, Mitchell only got 2 free throws on that attempt, so they must have said.
Yeah, I think he.
Oh, you're right. He got 3. Never mind.
He missed the first one while we were talking.
All right, there we go.
It's all good. Bengals down by 5. Here is Lachlan Brewer driving inside. Contact, rebound tipped around and finally taken out of there by Roberry. And Ryan
Looney really wanted a foul on that play.
Yeah, he was getting after Justin Albrecht on that one as they came down the floor. There's a 3-ball good by Colton Mitchell. And that's his first triple of the night. And for Colton Mitchell, man, that is his 41st of the season.
First bucket of the night.
And it gives the Vandals their biggest lead of the contest here at 8 at 34-26. We just went under 2 minutes to go. Trying to answer on the other end, and doing so is Jamison Guerra. And Guerra with his first Mountain America Credit Union 3-pointer, and the Bengals back to within 5. Pico Johnson got Blake Daberco in the air. Then a hand check foul going to be whistled on Daberco on the drive by Pico Johnson. So that'll be the 9th on the Bengals. It's a 1-1 chance here for Biko Johnson, who is 0 of 2 from the line tonight.
Vandals are 8 of 13 so far from the free throw line, 62%. Not a great percentage, but they're getting a lot of volume.
Offensive Player of the Week a couple of times last week in that Rocky Mountain Athletic Association where Fort Lewis College plays. He was a good one for them. Scored 16.3 a game. Makes a pair of free throws here, and the Vandal lead swells back to 7.
I think what we've seen throughout the Big Sky is a lot of Division II players who are capable of coming in and making an impact at this level. Jamison Guerra with the ball in his hand right now is a good example. He was an NAIA player.
Here's Daberco. Free throw line, gives to Garrett, double team comes, kick it back out. Brewer looking for the triple, and Lachlan Brewer knocks down his first 3-point field goal of the night. And for Lachlan Brewer, number 23 on the season, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Jack Payne. Quinn Patterson standing in and taking the charge, and Jack Payne picks up his second personal.
Well, it's been very physical in these one-on-one matchups, and here you see Payne and Quinn Patterson going at it, and they call Payne for the offensive foul.
Checking in for the Vandals will be number 24, Miles Clapper. Hillsborough, California native. First time we've seen him tonight. Patterson, Daberco, free throw line. Bengals down 36-32. Daberco has it. Left block, wanting to work against Roberry. Steps through, kicks it, cutting inside. Bring it back out. Martin Kyle drives inside. He'll draw the contact, and Martin Kyle will shoot free throws for Idaho State.
Well, this thing has quickly turned into a free throw shooting contest.
Brody Roberry is going to pick up the foul for his second. And you can see the contact coming up right in here. There it is, a little late to the spot. So it's 2 shots for Kyle. Martin tonight with 4 points.
We've had 23 free throws attempted in this game so far. Idaho with 15 of those.
Kyle is averaging 10.2 points per game, and he makes his first ICCU free throw attempt here. He's 32nd in the Big Sky in scoring with that 10.2 average.
Martin can light it up from 3, but the Vandals have done a really nice job of taking the Bengals away from that 3-point line tonight. ISU has just really struggled to get open looks.
Well, right now it is an 8-2 run for Idaho State. They've made 4 of their last 5, as have the Bengals or Vandals. Both teams have been shooting the ball well here in the final few minutes of this first half. 2-point Vandal lead at 36-34. We just went under a minute. Here's Colton Mitchell. Trying to get it, does, to Blasingame. Blasingame and a hand check foul whistled on Shek So.
And everything's a free throw attempt now. You can't give away easy fouls away from the bucket because everything is a free throw opportunity.
Yep, both teams in the double bonus here for the final 46.8. First time, I think, tonight we've seen Blasingame at the free throw line. He is a good one at 90%, but misses that one. Of course, Trayvon Blasingame was a high school teammate of former Bengal point guard Malik Arrington a couple of years ago, and Trayvon missed last season with an injury.
And Ryan Looney tried to recruit Trayvon when he went into the transfer portal a couple of years ago.
Missed both free throws here, and the Bengals now chance maybe for a 2-for-1. In the paint, Jamison Guerra, not much there. Gets it to Daberco. Blake driving off the glass, not good. Rebound tip taken out of there by Rasmussen. Rasmussen, Joba, Mitchell, Blasingame, and Clapper on the floor for the Vandals. And they've got about a 4 or 5 second differential here between shot and game clock. Shot clock down to 10. Mitchell directing traffic. Martin Kyle on him. Looking for a screen, comes through it, Here is an off-balance 3-ball no. Rebound tip goes to the floor. Clapper can't control it. Here's going to be a run out. Martin Kyle for 3. Got it at the buzzer. Martin Kyle hits a 3-ball, and Idaho State will go to the locker room with a 37-36 lead. And let's make sure, they're going to review to make sure that that was a 3. They say it was, and now the officiating crew of John St. Clair and Tyler Kump will take a look and just double check to make sure that that is a 3-pointer, and it is. And let's take a look at the replay. What a heads-up rebound and pass out.
Jamison Guerra, great pass out, and Martin Kyle was aware of the clock. Pulled up and hit that shot at just the right moment.
And the Idaho State Bengals finished the half on an 8-0 run. They made 5 of their last 7, and after kind of a struggle shooting, they got it going over the last couple of minutes, and they go into the locker room leading their rivals from up north, the Idaho Vandals. It's 37-36 Idaho State. And coming up at the half, we're going to have stats and highlights brought to you by Northern Quest Resort and Casino. So make sure you stick around for that. Brad and I will be back after these words on KISU FM and ESPN+. For Idaho State, that 3-ball by Martin Kyle really kind of evened things up a little bit. You take a look at the numbers.
Yeah, look at the shooting numbers. Idaho shooting 50% from the field, Idaho State 48. Surprisingly, Idaho, who is the best 3-point shooting team in the Big Sky, was just 2 of 10 from distance in that first half, while the Bengals were 5 of 11, 45%. Free throw line was also interesting. The Vandals shot 17 free throws in that first half, only made 10, and they were a very good free throw shooting team. They came in shooting 75% from the foul line, just 59% in the first half. The Bengals were a very nice 8 of 10. Each team had 5 turnovers, and the Vandals out-rebounded the Bengals 17-13, including 4-2 on the offensive glass. The Vandals had 6 second-chance points. The Bengals had none in that first half.
Points in the paint, 20-10 in favor of the Vandals. The Bengals, who have the top bench scoring production in the Big Sky Conference, they outscored the Vandals 14-12 in points coming off the bench tonight. But I think surprising, Brad, you mentioned you know, how quiet the Vandals have been from downtown. And listen, they got some damage done down low, but I don't, according to what Ryan Looney was saying, right, it's either post up or threes. Well, apparently Alex Pribble said, let's take our shot at posting up tonight.
Yeah, they have really gone at the Bengals one-on-one down in the paint, and they've had a lot of success, as you can see, with those 20 points in the paint. But the Bengals have done a nice job of getting out on them on the 3-point shot. That last play of the half, Colton Mitchell went up for a 3. I think he was trying to draw a foul. He did not get one. He put up an off-balance 3. The Bengals got the rebound. Jamison Guerra came out of there with the ball, made a terrific bullet pass to Martin Kyle, who was aware of the shot situation and threw that ball in. Here's some highlights. You see Lachlan Brewer with a 3 for the Bengals. And here is a 3 for the Vandals by Rasmussen, who had a nice first half.
Yeah.
Colton Mitchell with his only 3 of the first half.
He only had 5 points on the night in that first half, but we know he can blow up. And there is Rasmussen again.
That was Joba.
Oh, yeah, Joba.
And Joba came off the bench and had 6 points for the Vandals. He and Rasmussen did a really nice job of attacking the Bengals one-on-one down low.
Let's take a look at individual scoring quickly. The Bengals are led by Martin Kyle, 9 points in that first half, along with just the 1 rebound, but he did have a steal. 7 points for Gus Etchison, who again is kind of Mr. Instant Offense coming off that bench for Idaho State. 6 points for Caleb Vandegreen, 5 each for Guerra and Brewer, 2 points for Hollenbeck and Otten. They both battled some foul trouble in that first half, and 1 point for Blake Daberco for the visiting Idaho Vandals. The Vandals are led by Biko Johnson's 8 points. And Biko Johnson really kind of got the Vandals started early. A couple of quick buckets early on. 7 points for Jackson Rasmussen, 6 for Isaiah Brickner off the bench. Colton Mitchell, as we said, with 5. Brody Roberry with 4. Joba also had 6 points for the Vandals. 4 rebounds for Jack Payne, but he spent some time on the bench for the Vandals in some foul trouble as well.
Scott, both of these teams have 4 players with 2 fouls each. So that's going to be a big item to keep an eye on here in the second half. And the other thing is going to be free throw shooting. The Vandals went to the line 17 times in that first half and only made 10. The Bengals were 8 of 10 from the foul line, so they've kind of flipped the script here. The Bengals were the team that has been struggling at the foul line lately, and the Vandals have been shooting very well. So we'll see. Keep an eye on both of those stats as we move forward.
Well, for the Idaho State Bengals this season, I was going to look this up quickly. When they lead at the half, they are 7-1 this year. As Idaho State will see the Vandals with the ball first here.
I would expect to see Colton Mitchell take more of a role offensively here in the second half. He was very quiet in the first half. 1 of 5 from the field, and he had 1 assist. I would expect to see him become much more aggressive in the second half.
Vandals are 2-3 when they trail at halftime this year. They have the ball to start here. Colton Mitchell, skip it across, long 3, good by Jack Payne. And he knocks down his first field goal of the night, and surprise, surprise, it's a Vandal 3-pointer.
Yeah, and an assist from Colton Mitchell.
So back to a 2-point advantage for the black-clad Idaho Vandals here. Evan Otten works out on top. Here's Lachlan Brewer working against Payne. Goes wide on the left side to Hollenbeck. Down low, Otten trying to back down Roberry. Kind of lost his balance, gets underneath, reverse layup, good. And, you know, that's the evolution of Evan Otten. Yeah. He has developed that post play the last year or so.
Yeah, he's become much more aggressive offensively.
So 4 points for Otten, the 6'11" redshirt sophomore out of Redmond, Oregon. Here is Rasmussen for a triple. That's off the mark. The long rebound, and there's going to be a holding foul whistled, and that's going to go against Idaho State, I do believe, as Jack Payne was trying to track that down. That foul's going to go against Lachlan Brewer. Lachlan, that's his first, and the first Bengal team foul of the half.
Hollenbeck, Otten, So, and Etchison all have 2 fouls each for Idaho State.
4th tie of the night here, 39 apiece with 18:55 to go in the basketball game. Colton Mitchell feeds it in. Roberry had that ball knocked away, and Connor Hollenbeck coming over is going to pick up his 3rd personal, and that's a big deal for Idaho State.
Yeah. Connor played 11 minutes in that first half and picked up 2 fouls, sat much of the back end of that first half.
So Roberry, who had 4 first-half points and 2 of 2 from the stripe, will shoot a pair here, and he makes the first. Glad to have you along tonight here on our ESPN Plus and KISU FM broadcast.
Hollenbeck's going to take a seat with that 3rd foul, and 18:51 left in this game. That's a big thing for Idaho State.
Roberry's 2nd free throw is good as well. We'll be back on the air with you here Saturday afternoon. It'll be a 4 p.m. tip-off on ESPN Plus on the KISU FM radio side. Pregame at 3:30 as the Eastern Washington Eagles will venture into Reed Gymnasium. Here, the Bengals down by 2, and here is a 3-ball. Jamison Guerra, his 2nd 3-pointer of the night. That's a Mountain America Credit Union 3-pointer, and Idaho State reclaims the lead, 42-41.
Jamison may have gotten away with a little push-off as he got that shot off.
Here is Rasmussen working inside, and they're going to call a blocking foul on Sheck So, and for Sheck, that's his 3rd.
So the 2 small forwards, Hollenbeck and So, pick up their 3rd foul right here in the first 2 minutes.
Let's take a look at the replay here as Rasmussen trying to back his way in. So it'll be Vandal basketball into their own basket here on the baseline left. Mitchell has a hard time getting it in. They do get it into Roberry, and then trying to reach in and steal that ball away is Guerra, and the Bengals have picked up 4 quick team fouls here in 1:47. That's the first on Guerra on the night.
Yeah, that's a big item. That means that Idaho is going to be shooting a ton of free throws in this second half.
So Colton Mitchell gets it in to Rasmussen. He's got Otten on his back, now faces up, now backs him down into the paint. And not much Evan could do there with the 2 fouls, and Jackson Rasmussen with his 9th point.
Rasmussen has played well, 9 points, 3 rebounds.
That's the 7th lead change of the basketball game. Vandals up a tally at 43-42, and here's a steal. Colton Mitchell steals it away. He'll go to the other end, lay it up and in. Colton Mitchell now on the night with 7.
Caught Evan Otten with his back turned.
So Quinn Patterson going to see a lot of minutes here tonight for Idaho State. UC San Diego transfer, redshirted last season. And he's going to have to give the Bengals some big-time minutes here in this second half. Guerra working off a screen on top. There's another screen from Otten. Here is a pull-up 15-footer short off the front iron, but Lachlan Brewer got the offensive rebound. Now feeds it back, shot blocked. Ball goes to the floor, and Roberry's got it. I think Jack Payne blocked that shot.
Yeah, he did.
Of Lachlan Brewer. So a 3-point advantage for the Vandals. Roberry on top. Comes and sets a screen. There is a 3-ball well off the mark by Mitchell, but another offensive rebound. Jack Payne in the paint. Now ball stolen away. Martine Kyle driving the floor. Scoop it, can't score. Wanted the rebound, wanted a foul, and then they're going to get a foul on the rebound on Lachlan Brewer.
And that is 5 fouls on Idaho State in the first 3 minutes of the second half. There's a steal by Kyle. He's trying to draw a foul, you can see, but he doesn't get his head up in time to see the rim. And then Lachlan Brewer comes in and fouls Colton Mitchell, and the Bengals are really digging themselves a hole here from a foul situation.
So that's 3 fouls on 3 fouls on Hollenbeck. Lachlan Brewer has 2. Evan Otten has a pair. 16:39 to go here. We've got a timeout coming up here in about 45 seconds, or the next stoppage. Under 16 as the Vandals working out on top. Biko Johnson, that triple won't go. Rebound tip controlled by Vandegreen. So Caleb's back into the action, replacing Evan Otten. Jamison Guerra driving, kick it out, 3-ball on the way. Caleb Vandegreen. He hits the Mountain America Credit Union 3-pointer, his 10th 3-ball of the year.
They gave that basket to the wrong team.
Yeah, they did that before as well. And now they've got it fixed. Tied at 45, I believe, if we're correct. Yes, 45 apiece. Underneath they go. Jackson Rasmussen's going to draw the foul on Jamison Guerra.
And that is 6 fouls, my friend. And so for the next 15 minutes and 53 seconds, Idaho will be shooting free throws.
So we have a timeout on the floor. Tied at 45, 15:53 to go here in the basketball game. Back after this timeout on KISU-FM and ESPN+. University of Idaho and the Idaho State Bengals tied at 45 apiece. Brad, we mentioned earlier, 5 Idaho natives on this roster for Idaho. First time since 71-72. Colton Mitchell from Coeur d'Alene, Titus Uraut from Lapwai, Jack Payne from Boise, Brody Roberry and Jackson Rasmussen, both from Meridian. And unfortunately, Titus Uraut for the Vandals out for the year. Tore, I think it was a labrum in his hip. So he will be out for a while. Jackson Rasmussen to the free throw line. And Brad, we talked about it going into the break. 6 fouls in just over 4 minutes against the Bengals here, and that's a big hole.
That's a huge hole. The Vandals are 13 of 19 now from the free throw line. They're not shooting free throws particularly well tonight, but they are certainly shooting a lot of them. And the Bengals have really dug themselves in a deep hole right here in the start in the second half.
Vandals are 4 of 4 from the free throw line already here in the second half. Here's Gus Etchison into the game for Idaho State. Drive goes underneath. Caleb Vandegreen can't get it, but he's going to draw the foul. That'll be the 3rd on Brody Roberry and the 1st on the Vandals here in the half.
You can see Etchison getting the penetration here. Drops it off to Vandegreen, and Roberry comes over. Not a whole lot of contact there, but gets the foul anyway.
I think it was the verticality rule maybe that got him there. He kind of leaned in a little bit. Caleb Vandegreen, who has struggled a little bit from the free throw line.
Just
lately.
3 of 9 in Big Sky play after shooting 71% in the non-conference.
Yeah, and he's down to 67%, but makes a pair of ICCU free throws here. ICCU supports ISU Athletics radio broadcast. And this season, they contribute $5 to student athletes at Idaho State with every Bengal made free throw. Here is Colton Mitchell coming off the screen. Kick it back out on top. Brickner, Payne wants to drive, gets shut off on the baseline far side. Here is Brickner with Shek So on him. 9 to shoot for the Vandals. Rasmussen wants to drive, gets inside. The hook shot, not good. Shek So with a rebound. Tied at 47 with 15:10 to go. Bengals with a chance to take the lead here. Gus Etchison. The quick, athletic little point guard drives inside as the ball stripped away, and no foul called as Etchison went down. Seth Joba, a lot of contact there. Here's Brickner driving inside, and that shot up and good. Bengals, again, not stopping the basketball, and it cost them the 8th point of the night for Brickner.
Well, you know, if I'm Idaho, I'm going at the rim every possession because they know the Bengals are in foul trouble.
Quinn Patterson sets a screen. Now coming off of that and getting the ball out on the top of the circle is Martine Kyle. Drives against Colton Mitchell and puts up the shot, and Martine Kyle in double figures. He's the first Bengal to get, or check it, he is the second Bengal to get there. Vandegreen has 11. And a traveling violation on the other end will give it back to Idaho State.
Jackson Rasmussen on the travel. That's the 7th turnover of the night for the Vandals.
Bengals have scored 9 points off of the first 6 Vandal turnovers. 7 turnovers by Idaho State converted to 14 points by Idaho. So we've got 14-17 left. Tied at 49. Bengals have possession. Etchison comes down to the field goal here on the right-hand side of Holt Arena from our vantage point. Drives inside, draws the foul, and then goes sliding and ran into those steps on
Let's see if they give him free throws. He was passing the ball.
The foul goes to Seth Jobe.
Yeah, they're going to have the ball out of bounds because he passed that basketball. If he would have put it up when he drew contact, he would have gotten a shot.
Just a little over 14 minutes to go. Bengals play it in with Etchison. And there's going to be a foul on the before the ball comes in. And now those fouls start to add up on the Vandals. That will go to Jackson Rasmussen. For the freshman, his first, 3rd on Idaho. Again, Etchison, same spot on the floor, will play it in. Looking, finding Quinn Patterson, fires, 3 ball off the mark, rebound, Rasmussen. Hands off, Colton Mitchell. He'll run it up the right side, picked up by Etchison on the angle right. Seth Jobe, he's got the smaller Martine Kyle on him, bodies his way inside, and it's an offensive foul on Seth Jobe. And that's his 3rd, and that's 4 straight fouls on the Vandals here as
you see Jobe makes the move on Kyle and just kind of leans in, and Martine might have sold that one a little bit. Didn't look like a whole lot of contact.
Again, tied at 49. Etchison gives it up. Vandegreen gets it back. Almost a double dribble. What a spin move. Gets inside. Shot wildly missed. Rebound tipped. So Joba controls.
Gus was really out of control on that play.
Yeah, I mean, he can make things happen, but in that case, all he made happen was a turnover, and on the other end, Jackson Rasmussen checks in with his 13th point of the night, and the Vandals inch back out on top by a deuce at 51-49.
Bengals really don't have a man-to-man answer for Jackson Rasmussen. He gets that ball down in the post, he's going right to the rim.
Here's Vandegreen with it, and there's going to be a holding foul on Isaiah Brickner. And for Brickner, that'll be his 3rd, and that's now 5. So we're set up like we were in the first half. Going to be a lot of free throws shot over the last 13 minutes or so of this one.
My recommendation is next time out, go to the bathroom, get something to eat, get your popcorn popped, because you're gonna be here a while.
Ball stolen off the inbounds. Jack Payne, they get it ahead. Brickner, shot missed. Good defense by the Bengals, and then a late whistle, and they're going to call the foul on Quinn Patterson. So Quinn with his first. And that's 7 on the
7 on the Bengals.
Yep.
So everybody's in bonus for Idaho from this point forward.
Isaiah Brickner to the free throw line. He hasn't toed the stripe yet tonight.
Vandals 14 of 21, 67% on the night.
Brickner 85%. First one good. Vandals 5 of 5 from the stripe here in the first 7 minutes and 3 seconds of this second half. Jack Payne comes out as Biko Johnson re-enters the action for Idaho. Jamison Guerra back in at the point for Idaho State. Here's the free throw. Brickner missed it, and the rebound comes to Caleb Vandegreen. Kind of mishandled it, tracks it down in the corner. Bengals down by 3 at 52-49. Jamison Guerra driving, dumps it down on that baseline far side. Now they get it back out on top. Biko Johnson with a little bit of a bump. Jamison Guerra's pull up from the left elbow is good for a deuce, and he's in double figures with 10. And Idaho State back to within a point. Brickner, a runner in the paint. What a little baby hook touch shot that was. Almost like a teardrop hook.
Yeah, it went right at Martin Kyle. And again, the Vandals know the Bengals are in deep foul trouble, and they're just going to the rim.
Here's the ball again in the hands of Jamison Guerra. Quinn Patterson, once again, hasn't seen a ton of minutes this year, but Quinn Patterson, good transfer, an inside shot missed. Too hard off the glass by Caleb Vandegreen. Joba with the rebound. To Mitchell, ahead now on the left wing side. That's Biko Johnson. Puts it down on the baseline left side. Jackson Rasmussen wants to work against Quinn Patterson. The ball poked away from behind by Patterson. Nice defensive effort by Idaho State. So again, 54-51. Idaho with the 3-point lead. Guerra across the free throw line. Vandegreen thought about a three, now gets free and throws down his second big two-hand power dunk of the night.
It's so nice to be able to shoot the three when you're a big, because the defense has to respect that, and then you get past them and go throw it down.
And there was zero resistance. Here is Brickner, and a bump foul going to be whistled on Lachlan Brewer, his third. And that's 8 on Idaho State. We've got a timeout. 11 minutes, 13 seconds left. It's a good old-fashioned potato cellar burner tonight. Not a barn burner, it's a potato cellar, right?
Burner. There you go.
There we go. 54-53. Vandals with the lead. We're back to Reed Gymnasium after this timeout on KISU-FM and ESPN+. Made field goals, and Blue Cross of Idaho is proud to sponsor Assist this season and support youth across our community. For each Bengal assist, Blue Cross will donate to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeast Idaho, helping support local youth programs. Thank you to Blue Cross of Idaho for supporting Bengal basketball and the Southeast Idaho community. 54-53, Idaho with the lead over Idaho State, and to the free throw line here will be Isaiah Brickner. And this should be, is that a 1-and-1? Yeah, I believe this is a 1-and-1 opportunity. Yeah. And Brickner tonight, 1 of 2 from the line. Made his first, missed his second on a shooting foul earlier, and makes the front end of the 1-and-1 opportunity here.
Brickner with 11. Rasmussen with 13 for the Vandals. For the Bengals, Vandegreen has 13, Kyle 11, and Guerra 10.
Idaho with a 23-17 advantage on the glass. Second free throw missed, so Brickner with that first made free throw is at a dozen, but he's 2 of 4 from the line, and the Vandal lead is 2. Idaho State can tie or take the lead here as Jamison Guerra surveys the floor, handles the ball between the rings. Bounce pass, Connor Hollenbeck. He's quiet tonight, no field goals, just 2 points.
Been sitting most of the second half with 3 fouls.
Here is a drive, and the ball knocked away from Martin Kyle. Coming the other way, Brickner. Rasmussen lay it up and in on the right side. And that is 15 for Jackson Rasmussen.
And he's just a freshman in eligibility. He's got 3 more good years ahead of him.
In today's age, my guess would be they will not be at Idaho.
I was going to say, we don't know where they'll be, but.
Here is Guerra. Feeding it. Vandegreen has Joba on his back as he works on the left baseline. Spins inside. Shot won't go. And again, Caleb just kind of pushing it offensively, like just can't get in that rhythm. As Biko Johnson drives, gets into the paint, has nowhere to go, kicks it out. Here is a 3-ball by Isaiah Brickner that rimmed out. Rebound into the hands of the Bengals' Lachlan Brewer. 9:50 to go here in Pocatello. The homestanding Bengals trailing by 4. 57-53. Jamison Guerra, that 3-ball is off the front iron, saved by Brewer. Gets it to Caleb Van de Green, to Brewer. And Lachlan will get it back out on top to Jamison Guerra. Bengals now with 11 to shoot. They go into the motion. Guerra, jump shot. That is short. And Connor Hollenbeck just could not. That second bounce on the rim messed up his rebounding. And there is a hammer dunk by Jackson Rasmussen. He's got 17. And the Idaho Vandals are up half a dozen, 59-53. And we're going to have a timeout here taken by, and it's going to be a 30-second timeout taken by
Idaho State.
Yep, taken by Ryan Looney. And let's take a look at this replay.
Nobody got back. You can see the Bengals are not hustling back.
And that is something that will drive Ryan Looney just crazy. And he is based on defense. And if you don't defend, man, I'll tell you what, it's tough. Hey, financial support for Bengal athletics comes from Project Filter, reminding listeners that smoking and vaping increase the severity of respiratory diseases. You can get more information at projectfilter.org. Well, again, back on the air with you Saturday afternoon. It'll be a 4 p.m. tip-off. For those of you listening on KISU-FM, our ICCU pregame show will begin at 3:30. On the ESPN Plus side, we'll be on the air at just about 4 o'clock as the Eastern Washington Eagles come into Pocatello to battle the Bengals. Of course, the Eagles coached by Dan Monson. The Vandals did a very nice thing on opening weekend in Moscow. They honored Dan's dad, Don, a legendary Idaho coach. Did a little, who passed away in the summer. Don did. And I thought it was very nicely done. And why not? You got to honor a legend, and Don Monson was all of that.
Yeah, Don, of course, coached the Vandals in the early 80s. And they were one of the best teams in Big Sky Conference history. They went to the NCAA tournament. They actually won a first-round NCAA tournament game, one of the last Big Sky teams to do so. I think Weber State, or no, Montana won one in 2007. Weber State won a couple. And before that, it was Idaho that was the last team to win an NCAA tournament game. But Don's teams were great. They were you know, a bunch of 6'4", 6'5" guys that were just great compliments to each other.
And scrappy.
Yeah.
I mean, they played with Don Monson's attitude. He had a hard edge, right? I can remember coming and watching games at that time when they played in the Dome.
Yeah.
And, well, I'll tell you what, Don Monson was a great one. Anyway, the Eagles will come in here. They've been struggling a little bit, but they've also had a couple of nice wins. Knocked off Montana in Cheney on Saturday last week.
Well,
so
there's really no gimmies in the Big Sky this year. I mean, even the teams that are struggling like NAU and Sac State are pushing teams to the limit.
Here are the Bengals with the basketball. Connor Hollenbeck working against a smaller Biko Johnson. Double team comes, has to kick it back out to Sheck. So 10 to shoot, 9 to go in the basketball game. 9 minutes left here. Down to 5. Guerra's trying to get free, and he's going to drive, hang the floater off the glass is good, and Jamison Guerra now with 12 points on the night. On the other end, ball comes free. Coming out of there with it is Evan Otten. Bengals down 4, 59-55, 8:36 to go. Neither team has really been able to pull out. The Vandals' biggest lead has been 8, and that was at 34-26. The Bengals closed that half out on an 8-0 run. And then Idaho State's biggest lead has just been 2 points, and that was at 6-4. So the ball out of bounds, Bengals get it. As we're going to be shooting free throws here. The Bengals with 18 fouls, 6 already on the Vandals here. as it will be Connor Hollenbeck driving off the left wing side against Trayvon Blassingame. Gets in the paint. Hook shot left short. The Shek So. What a great effort by Shek So to tip that and control that rebound. And the Bengals get a second chance here as we approach the 8-minute mark. Here is Guerra, 4-3, off the mark, no. Tipped again by Shek So, and it'll be out of bounds to the Vandals. Shek could not control it, tipped it out, and that will take us to our under 8-minute media timeout. 7:59 to go. Vandals 59, Bengals 55. We're back after this timeout on KISU-FM and ESPN+. 59-55, the Idaho Vandals leading the Idaho State Bengals. The Vandals trying to get to 11-6 on the season, and what would they be? 3-1 in Big Sky Conference play. Speaking of Big Sky Conference play, let's take a look. 9:04 to go down in Ogden, and it is Weber State with a 63-61 lead over Eastern Washington. Northern Colorado in Portland tonight with just under 5 to go in the first half. It is Northern Colorado 24-17, and Northern Arizona in Sacramento tonight. They lead the Hornets 30-27 late in the first. And Brad, we checked the ISU Idaho women's matchup tonight, and it is going the way of the Vandals right now.
Yeah, the Vandals were up 55-40 late in the third quarter. It's now 61-49 in the fourth quarter. The Vandals ahead of that one.
Yeah, about 6.5 minutes to go in that game. So here we go, Vandals with the basketball, up by 4. Brickner, Rowberry has it. He's got Evan Otten on him. Gives it back up to Jack Payne out on the right wing side. There's a ball tipped from behind by Otten, but Rowberry controls. Brody Rowberry. Pretty good player for Southeast Louisiana the last 3 years, and he's going to draw the foul and the contact, and that's the 3rd on Otten, and that's the 9th on Idaho State. Once again, Vandals rebounding lead at 25-22. Offensive rebounds even at 5 apiece.
Now the real story tonight, the Vandals 34 points in the paint to 14 for Idaho State. They have just dominated inside tonight.
Well, and I think the other big story for Idaho State, too, is Connor Hollenbeck averaging almost 14 a night. He's got 2 points tonight on 2 free throws and a lot of fouls.
Yeah, they have just taken Connor out of the game.
Here's the 1-and-1 chance for Rowberry, who is now 5 of 5 from the stripe. And the 6'11" Blondie out of Meridian, Idaho. Senior. Misses the second, and the rebound comes to Shek So. Rowberry had 20 points and 9 rebounds against Bakersfield back on the 23rd of December. Here's Jamison Garrett driving underneath, gets by Rowberry. Shek So up fake. Now he'll get into the paint, and the ball ends up in the hands of Martine Kyle. Back to the center circle, and Guerra. Bengals have 10 to shoot. 7:10 on the clock as it ticks down. Guerra gets free. Here is Caleb Vandegreed, and that's going to be a blocking foul on Jack Payne. Jack tried to sell that, but I think he may have anticipated some contact. And
see Guerra with the penetration, and then gives it off to Caleb. Yeah, not much there, as Jack Payne will pick up the foul. That will be his 3rd, and that is the 7th. And Caleb Vandegreed will step to the free throw line here. And they call that a common foul, just 1-and-1? Yeah.
Okay, so that's the front end of the 1-and-1. There's an ICCU free throw and another $5 to student athletes at Idaho State University, courtesy of ICCU.
Caleb is the leading scorer for the Bengals off of the bench. 14 points tonight. And he has been the Bengals leading scorer most of the season.
That one back iron. The rebound comes to the floor. Shek So's got it. Shot up and good. Shek So with a big offensive rebound. And just like that, Idaho State with a reverse 3-point play. And they get it down to a deficit of 2. There is Rasmussen. Working against Connor Hollenbeck. Spins inside. Steps up. Has to kick it back out. 10 to shoot. Colton Mitchell's got it. He's been quiet tonight. Just 8 points, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Mitchell stops, pops, shot not good. Shek So clears the carom.
Boy, Shek is doing it again.
Shexo is a very quiet major cog for this basketball team.
The best defender on the team.
Here is Jamison Guerra. Bengals down by 2. Looking to tie or take the lead. Guerra kicks it out. Vandegreen, 10 to shoot. Gets a screen, drive, shot, not good. Rebound comes to Roberry. Roberry to Payne, ahead to Mitchell, left wing side, picked up by Martin Kyle. 6 minutes left. 2-point basketball game here in Pocatello. Jack Payne's 3-ball well short. Rebound off the floor taken by Martin Kyle. Guerra, he'll walk it into the front court.
Vandals have gone 3 minutes and 18 seconds without a bucket.
Here is Guerra, bumped by Brickner. Keeps control of the ball. No harm, no foul. Gets it to Hollenbeck. Back to Jamison. 10 to shoot as the Bengal point guard works from the center circle. Drives, hangs, and scores. Jamison Guerra in the second half with 9 points, 14 on the night, and we are tied at 60. That is the 8th, or make it the, it should be the 8th tie of the night, I believe. Here is Brickner trying to break that tie. His three-pointer well off the mark, and the rebound tipped around and
going to Idaho State.
Yeah, it's going to be Bengal basketball. Boy, there was a ton of bodies down there and just kind of lost contact with where everybody was. And we've got a timeout. And let's see what we have here. I don't believe this is our media timeout. It's a 30-second timeout taken by Alex Pribble. And how about Alex Pribble? I mean, this guy has come in here. The Vandals had struggled for several years. And Pribble came in. They won 11 games his first year, 14 his second year. They are 10-6 this year. Pribble, you know, he's become a pretty solid coach.
Came from Seattle University, where he was an assistant for 4 years.
He is 35-46 at Idaho, 15-25 in Big Sky Conference play, 118-87 in his overall coaching career.
They just showed a replay of that basket by Jamison Guerra, which tied things up for the Bengals, and Jamison has really come on here in the second half.
So it will be Idaho State. And Martin Kyle's 3-ball no. The rebound tipped by Vandegreen, saved by Shexo.
Once again, Shexo, the master of the hustle play.
I'll tell you what, if Idaho State finds a way to win this game, Shexo would be one of my guys for a player of the game. Fall away jumper, good.
And there's the other one right there.
Yeah, Jamison Guerra, he is having a conference season to remember. Bengals by 2. Jackson Rasmussen trying to tie it. Kicks it out. Roberry, 3. No. Rebound, Kyle. 4:25 to go here. And this is a good crowd here at Reed Gymnasium tonight. I've not seen an attendance number as of yet. But
best crowd of the year without doubt.
Yeah, I would say you're right. Here is Guerra. And going to have a foul whistled against Biko Johnson. He got tangled up on the screen out on top, and the foul goes to Johnson. And let's take a look at what they whistled here. Johnson with his second.
Oh yeah, he tripped over Evan Otten, and I'm kind of surprised that wasn't an illegal screen on Evan Otten. Frankly, he was not set. Biko Johnson just tripped over his legs.
So that'll be the 8th team foul on the Vandals. Evan Otten to the free throw line. This will be a 1-and-1 opportunity here.
We know Evan is not a great free throw shooter.
46%. But you know what? He's been one of those guys that he comes out of nowhere sometimes and hits a couple when you least expect it.
And that's what they need tonight.
Bengals lead 62-60. That matches their biggest lead of the night. Free throw is good. The front end of the 1-and-1, and that is an ICCU free throw, and a big one for Evan Otten.
Evan with 4 points tonight, 2 rebounds.
Actually, I've got him. That was his 5th. So maybe he can get to half a dozen here. Second free throw could give the Bengals a 4-point lead. That one off the back iron. The rebound to Jack Payne. If you're a Vandal fan, you're thinking, it's Colton Mitchell time. He has been clutch late in games, but tonight the Bengals have kept him pretty much in check. Just a couple of threes and a couple of free throws. 8 points. Jack Payne, skip pass, stolen by Hollenbeck. He can't control it, and he dives into the scorer's table here. Great effort by Connor Hollenbeck. The tide seems to have turned a little bit in the favor of the Bengals, and with 3:48 left, it's Idaho State 63, Idaho 60. Back after this timeout on KISU-FM and ESPN+. Idaho State with a lead. They have won 13 of the last 15 against the Vandals, Brad, and 9 in a row on this floor, and it's been a battle tonight.
Yeah, the Vandals are on a scoring drought, 3 minutes and 49 seconds. They're one of their last 7 from the field, and the Bengals on an 8-0 run here.
They lead it by 3 in the paint, and that shot missed, and a rebound to Otten. And Evan Otten gives the ball off to Jamison Guerra. Bounce pass. Martin Kyle got hit. No foul. Got dinged a little bit there by Isaiah Brickner. Here is Jamison Guerra weaving through traffic. Keeps his dribble alive. 10 to shoot for Idaho State. They're in no hurry, but they want to get a good look. Guerra drives, hangs. Shot good. He's fouled. He'll go to the line.
Jamison Guerra with 18 points.
Seth Joba just picked up his 4th personal foul, and let's take a look at this.
13 in the second half.
And Jamison Guerra can extend this Bengal lead to half a dozen, and Guerra from the free throw line, 75%.
He's been ISU's leading scorer in conference play with 19 a game, and now he's at 19 points.
And he just picked up another ICCU free throw. And the Bengals lead 66-60. Colton Mitchell getting inside, pinned up against the bigs, nothing there. Kick it out, Brickner, step back, high arcing 3 off the back iron. Jamison Guerra battling for the rebound, and that's going to stay. And Jamison Guerra, or I should say Colton Mitchell, got dinged up as they battled for the ball. I wonder if he came down on Guerra's. Oh, I think he just caught a hip in the gut.
Yeah.
As they battled for the basketball. Mountain View Event Center is a multi-purpose facility in Pocatello for all things sports. You can get more information at MECEventcenter.com. That's MEC eventcenter.com.
Vandals have now gone 4 minutes and 40 seconds without scoring. The Bengals on a 13-1 run over the last 5.5 minutes.
They lead it 66-60 as we go under 3 minutes to go. Mitchell kicks it out. 3 ball off the front iron and a foul. And that's going to be a foul, I believe, on the Vandals underneath. And that's going to go on Jack Payne. And for Jack, that's his 4th. And the Bengals will shoot free throws because that was a loose ball rebounding foul.
And now free throw shooting is going to be absolutely critical. The Bengals and the Vandals will both be in the double bonus from this point forward. Then Bengals really need to make free throws down the stretch.
Shekso has a pair, and he makes the first. He's a 76% shooter on the year from the stripe. Joba out, Roberry back in.
Sheck with 9 rebounds tonight, coming off a double-double down at NAU.
Sheck he has really started to come on. He missed last year with that knee injury. He makes a pair of free throws here, and all of the sudden, Idaho State is up by 8 here at 68-60 with 2:45 to go. Got to watch the 3 ball. They've done a nice job. Here's Colton Mitchell. His prayer not answered. Rebound Brickner. Another 3 ball. That one is good by Colton Mitchell.
Those offensive rebounds create space for 3-point shots.
That is just his 2nd 3-pointer of the night, his 10th point in the basketball game.
Vandals coming with a little full court pressure, trying to speed this thing up.
Biko Johnson keeping an eye. There's the screen from Otten. Wanted to try to get a little pick and roll action. They feed it inside, and there's going to be a foul, and it's going to go on Seth Roberry. And it will be Evan Otten, and Roberry kind of took a shot in the jaw as he and Otten were battling for that ball. Let's take a look at this. That is a foul on Roberry, his 4th. And I think it was more when Roberry fell. He may have banged his chin.
I think he might have bounced his head on the floor.
Yeah.
We talked about Evans' struggles at the free throw line.
He was 1 of 2.
And he'll shoot a pair because the Vandals are over the limit.
And
they're going to check something here, maybe to see if that was a...
Alex Pribble's checking to see if it was a shot to the face, contact, like a flagrant. So we shall see as John St. Clair with his arm on the basketball here. If you're, well, we don't have him on screen, but now all 3 officials are here.
The story of this game, Scott, for this last 2 minutes and 10 seconds is going to be free throws.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
The Vandals are 17 of 27 tonight, just 63%. Idaho State is 15 of 19, 79%.
Yeah.
So the Bengals have shot the ball well so far, but we know that they have struggled in clutch situations this season.
Well, and especially in conference play.
Yes, particularly against Portland State, against Northern Arizona. They've really struggled to shoot free throws down the stretch. So that's going to be the story, and the Bengals are in the double bonus for the rest of the game.
Well, if you'll remember, it was Connor Hollenbeck who missed 2 crucial free throws late in the game and against Portland State, and Martin Kyle with a chance to extend it to 10, right? Missed on a couple of technical free throws.
2 technical free throws.
Yeah, and then last week.
Yeah, Martin with 8 seconds left, and the Bengals up by 2 missed a pair.
So
it's a timeout for that appeal.
Okay.
He was looking for a flagrant. It's not there.
Okay, so John St. Clair comes over, and that's always good. It's always good to talk to the officials before the game. So Alex Pribble was asking for a flagrant. It wasn't there. Common foul.
And they will lose the timeout.
And they should lose their timeout. So it will be Evan Otten to the free throw line to shoot 2 here. Could extend this lead back to 7 for Idaho State.
Evan 1 of 2 from the free throw line. We told you 46% on the season.
Free throw on the way. Back iron, no. So the lead stays at 5. You'd like to get it, if you're Idaho State, you want to get that to that 7 or 8 number to make it 3 possessions.
Make it 3 possession, yep.
So Evans, second free throw. That one is good. And that gets the lead to 6 at 69-63. Once again, keep an eye on Colton Mitchell. The Bengals have done a nice job on him tonight. Kick it out. Pico Johnson straight away. A deep 3. Rebound, and there's going to be a foul on the floor on Evan Otten. It'll be 2 shots coming up here for Brody Roberry. But quite honestly, that's not a bad foul in that situation. I think I'd rather have him, if you're Idaho State, less momentum coming from free throws than a big putback dunk.
Here's the replay, and you can see Roberry. He kind of had Otten locked up down there.
Yeah.
And had good position, got that offensive rebound, and then Otten gets called for the foul.
We just went under 2 minutes here. 1:57 left in the game. Idaho State leads now 69-64 as Brody Roberry hits the free throw.
Roberry 6 of 7 from the free throw line tonight. He has been very efficient.
So an Otten out. Hollenbeck, check it. Brewer and Vandegreen back in. Second free throw by Roberry is good.
Brody Roberry keeping the Vandals in this game at the free throw line.
4-point Idaho State lead. Pico Johnson again putting some pressure on Jamison Guerra backcourt. Jamison across the timeline, left side, hands off to Brewer. Out on top, 1 dribble, bounce pass, come back. Far side to Guerra. Guerra trying to drive. Dumps it inside. That's got to be Connor Hollenbeck. He's working against Jackson Rasmussen, and there's the foul with 1:36 to go. Got a foul going to be whistled against the
Pico
Vandals.
Johnson.
Yep, Pico Johnson picks up his 3rd and 2 free throws. Connor Hollenbeck has been quiet tonight. He has 2 points. They came from the stripe in the first half, but he's also battled a lot of foul trouble. But nearly an 80% free throw shooter, and he's making this one. So
came into this game as the Bengals' leading scorer or not a second leading scorer on the season.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's see, 8, 12. Bengals are 9 of 12 in the second half with that make there.
Yeah, Connor was the leading scorer overall coming into this ball game, and the Vandals have held him to just 4 points.
95 seconds left. The Bengals lead 71-65. Colton Mitchell working out on top. Here is a deep three that's an air ball. It goes to the floor. It's tipped around, and coming out of there with it is going to be Sheck. So if that's a tie-up, that goes to Idaho State on the held ball, and that will be Bengal basketball. 1:21 left, and let's take a look. They're going to get Lachlan Brewer back in. Trayvon Blassingame checks in for the Vandals as Jack Payne comes out.
You got to go to the floor when that ball is loose like that. You've got to get on the floor.
Caleb Vandegreen re-enters the game. The Bengals are setting up the wide receiver inbound play here
against the pressure.
So it'll be Connor Hollenbeck to trigger the inbound. And finds a man.
Timeout.
Got a timeout. That's a good timeout, I believe, by Ryan Looney. He's asking if they have a 30-second timeout left. We'll hold things here.
And that will leave the Bengals with just, I believe, with just one timeout. Yes, each team has one timeout left.
1:21 to go in the basketball game. 71-65. In this game, 8 ties, 9 lead changes. Idaho State has only led for 4 minutes and 45 seconds of this basketball game tonight. Biggest lead for the Vandals, 8. Biggest lead for the Bengals, 8. Possession arrow right now belongs to, well,
to the Vandals, I believe.
yeah, it will go to the Vandals. The Bengals have to inbound this, and then it will,
it'll change.
Yes. So the Bengals just got the ball in the possession arrow. So once that ball comes inbounds, they get it into Lachlan. There's the double team. Pass over, Jamison Guerra. Going to slow things down. Nicely done by Idaho State. The Vandals trying to trap. Kick it near side. Kyle, three, good! Martin Kyle! He hits a Mountain America Credit Union three-pointer, and Idaho State, with a minute to go, leads by 9. A deep three off the iron. Biko Johnson stepped on the sideline on the far side, and Idaho State has come from 8 down in the early part of this, or late part of that first half, and now lead by 9, looking to extend this win streak in Pocatello to 10.
Still 56 seconds left. You got to get the ball inbounds across half court, and you got to make free throws.
They get it into Vandegreen. He gets it right back to Connor Hollenbeck. Connor hawked in the backcourt. He'll break the pressure, crosses the timeline. Colton Mitchell looking to take the foul. 45 seconds left. And here is Guerra. Comes back to Hollenbeck. 15 to shoot.
Keep the ball in Hollenbeck or Guerra's hands.
Martin Kyle gets free. Drives, tries to dunk. Couldn't do it. And here come the Vandals. Biko just shot blocked. 3-ball blocked. Ball comes to Guerra. And a foul in the backcourt on Jackson Rasmussen. Oh my goodness, it's a good old-fashioned rivalry game tonight. And the homestanding Bengals are really, they have proven something here to their home fans. And this, look, Brad, we've talked about attendance. This is the kind of game Idaho State needed with a big crowd.
Yeah,
right?
Let's be honest, the attendance has been very slim this year. Getting a win here in front of this crowd is big.
Jamison Guerra to the free throw line and gets the first one to go. Another ICCU free throw.
Jamison has been amazing tonight. He's got 20 points now. He came in averaging 19 points a game in conference play. And this is a guy that was recruited largely to pass the basketball.
And he makes both ICCU free throws, and we've got a timeout. We'll hold it here with just 25 seconds left, and Idaho State holding their biggest lead of the night at 76-65. It's a 7-0 Bengal run over the last minute 14, Brad. And look, it didn't start out real pretty. The Vandals were really dominant in the paint early in this basketball game.
Well, I think when you see the final numbers, they will have been dominant in the paint as well. But the Bengals came out and started making shots. And Jamison Guerra, let's talk about him a little bit. The Bengals have done a great job of replacing point guards over the last several years. They lost Malik Arrington to Seattle U. They brought in Colton Mitchell. They lost Colton Mitchell to Idaho. They brought in Dylan Darling. And they lost Dylan Darling this year. They bring in Jamison Guerra and Gus Etchison. Jamison led the nation in the NAIA ranks in assists 2 years ago. He is not a high-scoring player on the NAIA level, and yet here at Idaho State, he has become their #1 scorer in Big Sky Conference play. He came in averaging 19 points a game in Big Sky play, and he's just been terrific tonight, particularly in the second half.
When the Vandals shoot less than 35% this year from the three-point line, they are 1 and 5. They are shooting tonight from 3, 15%, 4 of 26.
The Bengals sacrificed the interior to go out and guard the three-point line, and it paid off.
So with 25 seconds left, Trayvon Blasingame back in there. Bengals lead 76-65. Colton Mitchell drives, hangs, shot not good off the glass, and a foul going to be whistled, and that's going to be a foul.
Shexo.
Yeah, Shexo on the rebound. And so with 17 seconds left.
And let's talk about Shexo. What a night he's had off the bench. 11 rebounds for Sheck, and so many hustle plays tonight.
Free throw up and good by Blasingame. That's the first points tonight for Trayvon Blasingame out of Auburn, Washington. He played at Fairleigh Dickinson his first year, transferred to Idaho. Missed the second free throw, gets his own rebound though. And that's going to be Jackson Rasmussen with a little late bucket. That's 19 for Rasmussen. Bengals lead at 76-68. Hollenbeck trying to get it in, does. Gets it into Lachlan Brewer. Lachlan, pass ahead to Martin Kyle. Martin Kyle, and the Vandals are not going to foul. And the Idaho State Bengals have knocked off the Idaho Vandals here tonight, 76-68. Idaho State will go to 3-1 in conference play, or make that 3-2 in conference play. The Vandals will drop to 2-2. Overall, the 7th loss for Idaho. They're now 10-7. Idaho State 10-8. And Brad, we talked about how important this game was in the big picture for Idaho State, with a big 4-game road trip coming up over the next couple of weeks. Big to get this win tonight and try to carry that into Saturday.
Yeah, no question. And of course, the Bengals have Eastern Washington coming in on Saturday night. The Bengals need another win there before they have to go out on that Montana road trip. But huge win tonight. The rivalry victory. The Bengals have now won 14 of the last 16 against Idaho. And the Vandals have not won here since 2017. So a big win for Idaho State tonight.
And I believe that's 3 straight wins in the rivalry, because they swept last year. I'm thinking that, yes, the game the year before up in Idaho, the Vandals won that one. But Idaho State, and we're waiting on Bengals head coach Ryan Looney to join us for the post-game interview here, as Idaho State has found a way to come from behind tonight, and for the 10th straight time in Pocatello, the Bengals have knocked off the Vandals. And you wrote a great piece about the southern branch and the northern branch. Well, there's another term that gets used around the Bengal program, and that's little bro.
Yeah.
And we shall see.
Little bro won again tonight.
Well, big bro won tonight, because that's kind of the way it's been lately. And first of all, Ryan Looney, congratulations. A great effort tonight for your Bengals. How did that second half turn around when you guys picked up 6 fouls in about 3 minutes as a team? How did you dig down and turn that thing around the last 10 minutes?
Right, the officials to get it evened out, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
And they did a good job all game. Extremely physical game, a rivalry game. I think that's what we expected. I think the thing I'm most proud of is our defensive performance in the second half. That's as good as we played on that end in a very long time.
I mean, we talked beforehand during the pregame. You said Idaho either wants to shoot threes or they want to post up. They were pretty dominant in the paint tonight. How much of that was a concern for you when you went in at halftime?
We made a decision to let them beat us there and take away the three-point line. And I would guess if you went through their season box, that we probably did as good a job taking away the three as anyone they've played all year.
4 of 26 for 15%. We got to talk about two guys. Shek So. We mentioned him also in our radio pregame tonight. He brings so much, but the hustle plays tonight seem to be the real key.
Yeah, it's taken him a little time to get going. Some of it could be the knee injury that he had a year ago and still coming back from that, but we've been trying to challenge him all year to provide some of the same things that Jake O'Neal did a year ago, and I think we're starting to see a little bit of that now.
Do you think as that season rolls along, that rebounding number can get a little better? I mean, that was one of the things, defensive rebounding. Shek obviously can help with that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were getting our butt kicked on the glass for the majority of the game. So to turn it around and have a plus margin, like when I talk about heck of a defensive performance in the second half, like I'm including defensive rebounding as part of that.
Jamison Guerra. Right, Brad? Is that where you were going?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Jamison Guerra, I mean, the guy has become as good a scorer in the Big Sky as there is.
Yeah, I mean, he's a winner. There's no other thing to say about it. Sometimes these guys you get from a lower level that have done nothing but win their whole career, that translates to what we're doing here.
And you get a win tonight with Connor Hollenbeck scoring 4 points and not having a field goal and battling foul trouble. And then a couple of big free throws down the stretch there, you know, a couple of makes for Evan Otten when it was still a little bit in doubt. Got to help the confidence there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a credit to Connor's mental toughness. A lot of players would have been frustrated with the fouls, with the lack of shot attempts. He just kept guarding for us in the second half when called upon. So great senior leadership from him.
Well, Ryan, you've got a day to get ready for Eastern Washington, but how much momentum do you think this will carry into Saturday for you guys?
Hopefully a lot, but to be honest, I have no idea.
Okay.
We're going to go down and talk about it right now, right? Don't want to get too high, even though you just beat your rival. We want to stay level-headed and put our best performance together Saturday afternoon.
Well, as Cody Hawkins likes to say when he's the head football coach, I got to be the pump the brakes guy. Not too high, not too low.
Yeah.
Ryan, congratulations. Great win tonight.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks.
Thanks.
That's Bengals head coach Ryan Looney, who picks up career coaching victory number 408. And Brad Bugger, I mean, what can you say? It was a rivalry game. It had everything really that you could want in a college basketball game, and we should have some final stats popping up here relatively quickly that we can take a look at. But the big number tonight, Brad, is going to be this one. The Idaho Vandals, who are one of the top, well, they are the top
the best three-point shooting team in the Big Sky.
Yeah, second in the conference in percentage, but first in attempts, first in makes. Tonight they go 4 of 26 for 15%.
Yeah, let's take a look at those numbers. You can see the Vandals shot 42% from the field overall. They were just 35% in the second half. Yeah. Idaho State wound up at 47%, and that was pretty even. They shot 47%, 46% in the second half, 48% in the first. Three-point field goals, you can see the numbers there. The Vandals really struggled. The Bengals did a great job getting out on the three-point line. Idaho State shot 42%, a very nice percentage. Free throws, the Vandals are going to look at those numbers as well. They came in shooting 76% from the free throw line on the season. They wound up shooting just 65% from the foul line, 20 of 31. The Bengals shot 80% from the free throw line. That was big tonight. ISU and Idaho each had 9 turnovers, and the Bengals came back to out-rebound Idaho 34-31 after trailing most of the game in that category.
Yeah, and just overall, just a gutsy effort down the stretch. And Brad, you said it came down to free throws, and maybe not quite as much as we thought, but still, that is going to be a real big determining factor in this game.
Yeah,
tonight.
the Vandals are going to go back and look at that 11 free throws they left on the table. And the Bengals are going to go back and look at the fact that they made 80% of their free throws, and both teams are going to have the appropriate reaction.
Well, it was one of those games tonight that Idaho State needed. It looked like it might not go their way, but a never say die attitude, and they come out with the 76-68 win. The Idaho State Bengals now 3-2 in Big Sky Conference play. The Vandals drop to 2-2. Idaho State back in action here Saturday afternoon, 4 p.m. tip-off with the Eastern Washington Eagles. Hope you'll join us right here on ESPN Plus, as well as our local radio broadcast at KISU-FM. Want to thank our entire ESPN crew here tonight in Pocatello. And from my partner, Brad Bugger, I am Scott Gross, reminding your final score once again here. Idaho State 76 and the University of Idaho 68. Until Saturday afternoon, so long, everybody.